Hello everyone, welcome back to the Phone Museum. Today we are going to look at Xiaomi Redmi Note 8T. We looked at this phone before, about 2 years ago, and I'm going to record this one again with Android 11 with MIUI 12. I originally planned to do Android 10 with MIUI 12 review and then go to Android 11, but I just saw the software update with MIUI 12 and MIUI 12 is already on the Android 10 and I didn't know that Android 11 is also MIUI 12, not a MIUI 13. So I just installed the update and that was Android 11 with MIUI 12 update. So I guess we skipped Android 10 and we go into the Android 11. Anyways, turn on the lock screen with the power button, or you can double tap to lock the phone and swipe from left to go to the Mi remote or LED flashlight. That was similar to the MIUI 11. If you want to see what happened in MIUI 11, I will put on the card up here. That will be Android 9 Pie with the MIUI 11. And swipe from right, you can access to the camera right away. I mean, you have to wait a little longer, but there's a little shortcut, and there's time, date, and if you want keep name, you can put names or your contact info, and swipe up to unlock. In my case, there's a fingerprint sensor, so I'm using fingerprint sensor to unlock the phone. And MIUI 12, the basic home, this thing looks same as usual, regular MIUI, and nothing special. The phone and message is from the Google phone and message and those application I downloaded. And let's go to the camera app for first. And camera, you can see there's a LED, HDR, AI, and little filter. There's a vivid, those kind of filter, and there's a beauty mode, and there's a Google Lens. I can scan, do things, basic Google Lens, and there's more setting. In here, you can change the ratio 1:1, 3:4, 9:16, and full, and timer 3:10, setting, and all the grid line, which grid line you want, and center mark and those kind of stuff as well. And there's a macro. So this camera, this phone has a 48 megapixel main camera with the 8 megapixel ultra wide camera and 2 megapixel macro and 2 megapixel depth camera. So you need to enable to macro camera, you have to go to setting and there's macro. Then let's put this on and you can take a pre-close shot. And this one also have an autofocus, so it's better. And there's tilt shift, and there's a little controller for the zoom, ultra wide 0.6. There's 2x zoom, but this is digital zoom, so nothing fancy. And here you can swipe up to see the older mode. So if I don't want to use panorama, you can just put here, then it will be in the panorama up here, but not in here. But I want to just put everything on here, so let's put it like this. And from like short video, slow motion, in slow motion you can pick 1080p 120 frame per second or 720 240 frame per second. And time lapse, in time lapse you can do up to 4K 30 frames per second. And in here you can change the interval up to 1800x. And regular video you can take a 1080p 30 frame, 60 frame, and 4K 30 frame. And also you can take a macro video up to 720 30 frames per second. Oh, and for the ultra wide, is up maximum 1080p, 30 frames per second. Same as time lapse, like so. Slow motion for the slow motion is only for the main camera, and photo is same 40 megapixel. You can turn on the 40 megapixel because in regular photo it's taking a pixel beaming to 12 megapixel camera, but you can change to 48 megapixel. And there's a night mode, and you can zoom in, zoom out, but ultra wide camera does not support night mode. And there's portrait mode, so you can change the aperture, and there's a beauty and a filter as well, and nothing special. And pro mode, you can change from the macro lens, ultra wide lens, or just regular lens. And there's a light, you can switch, ISO, and shutter speed up to 32 seconds, and focus to put macro to far, and white balance as well. And panorama is just basic panorama, nothing special. Take a picture and go around. And for the picture quality it's alright. It's not the best. In the dark is kinda noisy and really easy to have a not stable picture. But most of case it's alright. Sometimes it have a better white balance than iPhone, but not always. Sometimes iPhone take a better white balance, and sometimes this one. But surprising thing is this one from like about 3 years ago, and this is like $200 smartphone. Compared to iPhone, the I compared was iPhone 13, which is just brand new iPhone, the newest iPhone so far when I'm recording. This smartphone is pretty amazing. The camera for this price, I think is pretty good. And next, let's see the settings, because we can see everything. Full future in the settings in my device. Oh, by the way, settings, it's kind of little, they kind of mimic the Samsung One UI, but it's all good. Go to my device. MIUI 12 is kind of, you want to show like big thing on the left, on the top, and other small thing as a list. So speaking of that one, so swipe left to go to all the notification, swipe right to go to all the settings. Many people think this is kind of similar to the recent iOS after iPhone 10, but I think this kind of gesture was already there when Android 4.2, the tablet version. When Android tablet version, when you swipe left, go to all the notification, swipe right to see all the quick setting. But later, Android 5 Lollipop, after Lollipop, they removed that feature, and Apple take that feature to they put in their iPad and their iPhones. So is it copy from iPhone? Then is Apple copy from the Android tablet? I don't know. So let's just, it is what it is, and you can see the MIUI version. Right now is MIUI 12.0.3.0 stable, and there's a MIUI 12.5 update, and I will update this one, and I will review it this one later. And you can change the device name, and you can storage is like a water. When I go to shake, it's go to like this way. You know, you can move. I like this kind of cool little animation. And you can see MIUI version as well, Android version 11, like so. And Android security patch right now, MIUI 12.0.3, the newest security patch is 2021 October 3rd. And all spec, you can see all the device name, RAM 4GB RAM, CPU octa-core 2 GHz, security patch, MIUI version, model name, and those kind of stuff. and you can back up and restore, factory reset, and you can see safety information and those kind of stuff. Oh, and security status. Find device right now is turned off, and security update you can see in here. Oops. And play protect, you can see all the apps is safe or not, those kind of stuff. And Google Play system update is August 1st, I guess. And SIM card and mobile network, you can see all the, this is dual SIM, so I can right now only one SIMs are activated, but you can activate both SIM. Then you can set as a which SIM card as a default SIM card and which SIM card as a default data SIM card, those kind of stuff. And you can see all the data roaming and other stuff. Wi-Fi, there's a basic Wi-Fi. As I said before, the MIUI 2.12 theme is like on the top there's a big square, and on the bottom there's a list view kind of stuff. And there's a Bluetooth and a hotspot, VPN, connection and sharing. It's just basic thing. And this one have a NFC, so you can use NFC to send things. But since Android 10, Android 9 has a Android Beam, because I remember I demonstrate on the video, so if you want to see, you can check the previous video. But in here, there's no more Android Beam, because Android Beam is replaced by the Nearby Share. Nearby Share is kind of Android version of AirDrop. I don't like to say those kind of words, but that's easy to understand to the other people and multiple users. So if you want to add more user, then you can create one for separate Google account, separate app installation, those kind of stuff. And lock screen, you can check all the lock screen thing. So raise to wake is when it's sleep, where you raise and it's wake up. Sleep in 1 minute to, you can change all the way up to never. Double tap to wake is double tap to wake and double tap to sleep. That's very convenient. And wake lock screen for the notifications. This one is when a notification is received, then the lock screen is turn on, and I don't like that one, so I turn off. And lock screen clock format. So in here you can change all the different clock format, but I think this is the one of the unique ones, so I choose this one. And lock screen owner info, in here you can change the name or your emergency contact info if you lost phone, those kind of stuff. And then, so this one is volume down to launch camera when screen is locked. And there's pocket mode, so when in pocket, then it says there's a proximity sensor detect it's pocket or not, those kind of stuff too. It's not gonna click accidentally, those kind of stuff. And display, you can choose light or dark mode, of course, and you can schedule as a sunset or sunrise. And in more dark mode option, there's like the text and background or wallpaper, those kind of stuff as well, and for each application as well. And brightness level, you can turn on the auto brightness on and off. And sunlight mode is a pretty new one, so when I turn on, then even though I'm on the like manual mode, but I got the really bright sunlight kind of stuff, then it will automatically maximize the brightness, even the auto brightness is turned off, something like that. So even though you're using manual brightness, if you go outside, then it's automatically boost your brightness. And reading mode is just basically the little good on eye, the color temperature is kind of yellow, those kind of stuff. And you can change the color as auto, standard, those kinds of stuff. So you can change all the cool, warm, default, but I prefer here. And text size, you can change the text size. And when device is in VR, is reduce blur or flickering, those kind of stuff you can pick. And full screen mode, which app gonna use full screen, those kind of stuff. And auto rotate screen. Most of smartphone I usually turn on this one because I don't want to manually rotate the screen, those kind of stuff. But this one, sensor is very sensitive, and when it's rotate, the animation is really laggy. So I turn up this one when I use. For example, I'm on the little web page, turn it like this. It's really slow, and our animation is not smooth. So I usually turn off. And sound and vibration, and it's ringtone and those kind of stuff. And one funny thing is, when you upgrade to the MIUI 12, then it's changed to a theme, so you cannot change your ringtone in the setting. So you have to go to theme, and you have to agree those kind of stuff, and then you can change the sound from here. It's not convenient, I guess. Like, come on, just changing notification sound, I have to really agree with your theme, those kind of stuff. That's, I don't know. And MIUI 12, there were like sound assistant, which is pretty good. For example, YouTube, like for example, I'm watching YouTube, then I can hear to change the volume, like so. So that one is kind of Samsung sound assistant, but it's kind of lack of a feature, but better than nothing. And there's silence mode, I can turn on or off, and silence media in silence mode or D&D. This is just basic D&D, like so. And a vibration for call, or vibration in silence mode, vibration on the tab, and additional settings. So there's dial pad tone, tap sound, screen locking sound, screenshot sound, and delete sound. The delete sound is so there's a little app, and if I uninstall, you can hear those kind of stuff, and it disappear. And right now I made it auto adjust, so it's kind of all move back to the what it was. But let's see, you can put it back. And yeah, screenshot sound is when I take a screenshot, it's make a little sound. Let's delete it. And those kind of locking sound is this basic locking sound. And tap sound is when I tap, it make a annoying sound. And dial pad sound tone is when I dial it, it make a the little sound. And sound effect, nothing special. When I plug in the earphone, just have a equalizer and those kind of stuff. And the headset button, what I gonna use. And notification and control center, so I can see the which notifications in the lock screen or floating, or the badge. In app notification, which app I gonna receive, and I can pick the MIUI version or Android version, smart home, and notification shade, and those kind of stuff. It can control in lock screen or not. Status bar, you can see the internet speed connection, and I can show the carrier and those information, but I put as a none, so you can change in here as well. And battery indicator is just little icon, or the number inside the icon, or icon with the number. I wish they have an option for the just number, but they don't have. And you can hide the notch. I personally hate notch. This one is smaller, so better than that, but like iPhone, oh, I can handle it. Anyways, home screen, you can choose the launcher. In my case, I have a different launcher, third-party launcher, so I can pick either one. And home screen is classic and with app drawer. with the app drawer that's new for the MIUI 12. And when I go here, there's an app suggestion or manage app category. I can make a new category, background. I can make a black, light, auto, those kind of stuff. And I can choose scroll bar as original layout or A to Z. And place new apps on the home screen kind of stuff. So when I go it, then it's kind of change the layout, go up to see all the apps like so, and scroll through all the category I made it. But I prefer the app drawer, but MIUI 12 app drawer is kind of not as good as like Samsung's One UI or other launchers, so I just use as a default classic one. And the navigation as a buttons, as a 3 buttons, and you can switch or you can do the gesture. The gesture has been changed. In MIUI 11, the gesture has a, when I swipe longer to go to previous app, but in MIUI 12, it's not. I have to like this to go to the previous app, but which is very slow and sometimes it's not working properly, so I don't like that. And as I showed you before, Fear Cell or uninstall app, so it was removed. When I remove app, it's changed the order. Lock home screen layout, so if I do that, then I cannot move different place because it's locked. And icon size, I can change how big or small, those kind of stuff. Home screen layout 4 to 6 or 5 to 6. I prefer 5 to 6, so keep it that. And to see recent app, like this one is like this, but you can change the horizontal. I prefer, it was MIUI 10 or 11, I don't remember, but at the time it was like different size and it looks cute, but this one is all the same, so it's kind of unfortunate they switched to like this. And show memory status, so you can see how many memory. There's 4 GB and there's only 1.3 GB memory available. And I can blow the app for preview, which is, for example, camera. So when I turn the camera, then you go to preview, it's gonna blur the recent app. And social session is just those kind of stuff, so not so useful. And wallpaper is go to the theme. In this time I was agree the term in the ringtone, so I don't have to do it, but if you didn't do it, then you have to agree all the Xiaomi's term and those kind of stuff to enter the wallpaper. And theme is basically theme, so there's a theme, wallpaper, ringtone is same application running in the theme, and they make us 3 different category in subtitle. And password and security, you can see again there's a 4 big box to show everything, fingerprint, face unlock. And if you have a Bluetooth device, then you can use Bluetooth to unlock. And there's a emergency alert, SOS, privacy, and those kind of stuff. And privacy protection, you can see all the which app use like location or those kind of stuff. So how many apps using location service, so I can turn off those kind of stuff. And special permission, like battery optimizer, you can turn off in here. Like there's like do not disturb access, like everything is in here. You can see other permission in here. You can actually in all the apps and click it, and you can see all the permission by apps. And there's a high risk permission and privacy policy. And battery and performance, it has been changed, and you can turn the battery saver or ultra battery saver. And if there's some battery issue, I can click and I can see which app consuming battery a lot. So there's suggestion, turn on the dark mode. I don't know, this is LCD smartphone, I don't know how we're gonna save the battery, but turn up the always on display. Funny thing is this device doesn't have does not have always on display, and clear memory 10 minutes after locking device, and turn off location service, turn off the haptic feedback, those kind of stuff. But some of them, I think they just copy the code from the flagship, their Mi 10, 11 series, and just plug in here. So some of them maybe not useful for this device. And you can see a battery saver, and you can schedule turn on and turn off the device as well. And in the setting, there's a similar setting. Clear the cache when device lock, like battery saver on, those kind of stuff. In the apps, you can see all the system app setting and manage apps. I can see all the download app, and I can uninstall it or do the app and see the permission, those kind of stuff. And dual apps is I can just copy the app and I can use two different accounts. Permission as a auto start, which app can auto start again, like those kind of stuff. This come back to here. And app lock, which is I can lock the app. For example, I lock the YouTube. Then when I go to YouTube, I have to do the fingerprint or pattern to access to my YouTube. Let's turn off. And additional setting, there's you can time, date and time, you can change up here. Language and input, you can change a bunch of different language in here. And change the keyboard. Right now I'm using Gboard. And manage keyboard, you can change the keyboard setting in here, spell checker and those kind of stuff. And you can change the region and button shortcut and launch camera. I used to put launch camera as a double press the power button, but problem is when I do it, turn off the screen, turn on, and now camera is activated. It's like take like 5 seconds to open the camera, and it locked the smartphone as well. So it's I don't feel so useful because I rather just go home and click the camera. Is way faster than clicking power button 2 times. So I use that one for the turn on the LED flash. That's more convenient. Of course, it's gonna lock the smartphone anyways. I don't know why they put that way. And take a screenshot. This one is one thing I really like from the MIUI 11, but in MIUI 12, it doesn't work well. It's just swipe. Okay, can you see it? Like it just swipe. I don't know. It doesn't work 3-finger gesture anymore. So I don't know what they did, but it doesn't work well. So that's very unfortunate. And there's a one-hand mode, but this is you need the button to do it, so it's kind of not useful. Clear the speaker is when you turn on, they'll make a sound to clear the little speaker. There's a bunch of different settings and memory extension. Samsung One UI 4 has memory extension, and they also include memory extension in here. So I can add 1 GB RAM. But funny thing is, I don't see in here, there's a 4 GB. It should be say 5 GB, but I don't know how it works. Because even the CPU jet, of course, it just shows 4 GB. So I don't really see the memories that has been extended or not. It's kind of hard to tell. And there's a developer option if you turn on. And there's digital wrapping and parent mode, which is basically the Google digital wrapping. So I turn on the heads up. So when I walking while I'm looking at the phone, then it's tell me, oh, you need to be careful, those kind of stuff. Nothing special. And special feature, so there's a bunch of the Xiaomi's MIUI features, the game turbo, I can add that game to make optimize those kind of stuff. Video toolbox, which is when I'm watching video, for example. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. That's the problem. Anyways, when when it works, there's a little pop-up and you can see like record, screenshot, and go to a different app, those kind of stuff. I'm sorry. I didn't turn on. That's why. Okay. So for example, I'm watching YouTube, swipe, and you can see there's a record, screenshot, cast, and go to the different application immediately. For example, like this. Those kind of stuff. Little fun thing. And a floating window. I tried to use floating window so badly and it doesn't work. So I try to, when I get the message, I try to pull to make a floating window. It doesn't work. And plus, other thing is MIUI 11 has a like dual screen multi-window mode, and MIUI 12 they removed that feature. I don't know why they did it, because that's like basic feature from the Android 7 Nougat, and Samsung has since Galaxy S3, and LG has it, like except Android, except iPhone. Almost every phone has a dual window, and they removed the feature from the previous one. So is it upgrade or downgrade? I don't know. And second space, is it again? Oh, I forgot the second space password. I think it was 1234. Oh no, 1100. Oh, so I used the second screen at the MIUI 11 and I didn't use the second screen for a long time and I forgot the passwords. But this one is technically two different space and you can send the pictures, those kind of stuff. But when I try to use it, I cannot send the picture after I update the MIUI 12. I cannot send the picture from main account to the second space. I tried to do it, but I didn't find any way to send the pictures. And light mode is kind of grandma mode, so it's like make it bigger and bigger icons and those kind of stuff. And me account, Google account, sync, privacy, and location. That's it. And speaking about location, this phone can detect GPS, GLONASS, and Beidou from China. And so far, in my area, I cannot get the signal from the QZSS from the Japan, so I cannot tell it can detect QZSS or not. And plus one thing is in MIUI 11, when I click the the little icon, then I have an option to three different options: close or lock the app and make a multi-window. But in here, when I click it, it just go to app info. For example, photo, it go to app info. So I try many ways to make it like a dual screen or lock the app. I cannot find a way to do the dual screen, but the lock the app is right now I don't remember, like for example like Messenger app, I lock this app and you can see the little lock. This one was like so complicated. It's like it was like go to the apps and give like permission to, it was other permission, it was hidden some random place. I don't remember correctly, but it was in the setting. You go deep inside the setting to make sure it's not gonna lock when it's clear the RAM. So it was a very inconvenient to use. So personally, MIUI 12 looks much better and there were cool animation and those kind of stuff, but they remove a lot of feature like multi-window. They changed all the feature from the screen, and even floating window. I tried to use a floating window, like for example browser, it doesn't work as floating window. So their software is broken a piece. And I don't know, is it possible to call it stable? Because there's so many, it says stable, but there's so many things are not working and so many things are work properly. Is how can it call stable? So that's very disappointed, because I really enjoyed the MIUI 11, but MIUI 12, it looks cool, but outside it looks cool, but inside is kind of broken piece. So hopefully they fix all the problem in MIUI 12.5. And I think this might be just the lower tier device problem. The upper tier like Mi 11, Mi 11 Ultra, whatever, they might didn't have those problems because they were of their flagship level. But this one, Redmi level, is kind of their mid-range, lower tier. So that might be the problem, but still, this software in Redmi Note 8T has a lot of problem. So hopefully in future they fix that problems. Anyway, thank you for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video.